Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 25th of January, 2021. A beautiful, balmy, yet prolific minus 26 outside. Coming up on this week's episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Governor General's resignation and other Canadian political blunders. All that and more coming up the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay tuned.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on politics, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
Yes, it's me once again, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Crusty Canuck, on this beautiful 25th January 2021. As I mentioned, yes, it was minus 26 outside. Beautiful, cold temperature. Yes, just as always, just like every January and February in eastern Alberta. Cold as a witch's you-know-what. Yes, as I mentioned, so long and thanks for all the fish. Governor General's surprise resignation over the past week, and it's been nothing but the headlines in Canadian news, just kind of to deflect us from other things. And just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is not meant for children. I do swear a lot, so listening discretion is advised. And if you do like and hear what you see, please click the like button, share and subscribe on YouTube and Podbean and all around social media as long as we have it without all the censorship. And you can also find me on the new Gab forum, as well as Telegram and Signal. So I'll leave links in the description there for you to decide where you want to follow me. Yes, and I'm still on Facebook and Instagram as we speak for now. Knock on wood. So, it's carrying on. Governor General has resigned. Yes, I did a story about this, another episode of this back in July, when allegations were coming out of the woodwork in regards to her work ethics and how she treated her staff. And apparently, third-party investigations have concluded that she is quite the nasty woman to work for, regardless of her qualifications or not. And I'm always a stickler for people that merit for things and get things done, and try to do things efficiently and properly to the best of their ability, i.e. by their own merits, based on hard work and good ethics, all that good stuff. But I guess according to Miss Payette, she was above that. She did not need all these wonderful things, right? So what gets me is that now she has resigned, and of course Potato Boy and the pint-sized you-know-what, and all other followers of the liberal conglomerate, the Fjords in general, incarnate, all that good stuff, jawohl, have all come together to back her up and said she's just a great, wonderful human being. Now, from being in the military, I have worked with some great people, good, strong leaders. It didn't matter what gender, male and female alike, all walks, all creeds. And I've also had an abundance of leaders that just didn't really give a shit. They had their rank, they had their privilege with said rank, and they do their best to piss on the little guy, right? Funny how karma does work sometimes, though, because I have been fortunate to see those individuals get penalized and punished for their unbecoming conducts and all that stuff. But when you actually think about how they're treating this lady and what she's went through, she didn't really like going to work. She treated her staff like garbage. Constant renovations at Rideau Hall, innovations for this, innovations for that, just to make her comfortable. When really, all she is represented the Majesty, the Queen. And you've heard me ramble on enough. I think we should abolish the Governor General's position. Right? We should. If we do keep it, then it should be an elected position, someone who's merited for said position, someone who can represent Canada in a nonpartisan fashion, i.e. all Canadians. Doesn't matter if you're Liberal, Conservative, NDP, Greenie, Rhinoceros, or identify as a toaster. Right? It should be for all Canadians, period. And as far as I'm concerned, she doesn't deserve a pension. And in fact, there's quite a few Governor Generals that still get quite the pension and quite the perks, i.e. an expense account. And personally, I really think they deserve
absolutely nothing.
And rightfully so. Absolutely nothing. They don't deserve special treatments or perks because they're not really lawmakers. They just basically supervise. It's a supervisory position and a reporting position, to say the least. We're no longer a big colony. We still have our ties with Britain, and we have our ties with the majesties and the monarchy. Oh, yes, fa. But it doesn't really fucking matter anymore. It doesn't. Okay. So hypothetically, like I've said before numerous times, if you're going to put someone into that position, then it should be somebody who can be elected and ejected too, without all the drama and the hoopla about workplace abuse and the drama and everything. And when it comes to, making sure that everyone is treated fairly and safely. Not every workplace is going to have its perfect moments. There's going to be days where things get stressful and some supervisors might lose it and some workers might lose it. That's life. I get that. I understand that dynamic purely. I've been there. I've been a subordinate and I've been a supervisor, so I know exactly what it takes. Now, I'm not comparing the prestigious position of the Governor General compared to being a sergeant in infantry, but nonetheless, it's basic management skills. Okay? There are people that are hired to look after the Governor General at every beck and call. Ring a little bell, a 24/7 service, security details, you name it, not to mention the traveling perks that go with it, plus a pretty fucking hefty salary, too. So I'm not really surprised that she resigned, right? I'm not surprised at all that she resigned because really, serves her right. If it's up to me, well, they just have him fucking fired. Period. Done. See ya. As far as I'm concerned, you have no right to hold any position in government whatsoever based on your performance and based on the so-called quote-unquote third-party investigation. Should have been dealt with a long time ago because these allegations came out in July of last year. We're now sitting in the better part of almost February. And so 7 months to come to conclusion when it comes to investigating workplace harassment. Well, there are people that are tried and convicted for murder and serial killing quicker than the way they investigated this thing. So that speaks for itself, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, big time. What do you say? Let me know, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook under Crusty Canuck. And like I said, on the new Gab social platform, as well as Telegram, and on Signal. Please give me a shout. If you feel like donating, please consider donating. I have a PayPal account, buy me a coffee, or you can donate through YouTube and by your own accord if you feel like donating. No one's going to demand it. I'm not going to be one of those podcasters that demand cash. Do I do a little dance for you? No, I'm not one of those teenage bimbos that gets the desire to cover myself in raw egg whites and sell my bathwater for $35 a pop. No way, Charlie, am I going to fucking do that for any weirdos out there. I have a little more dignity and stamina than that. So moving on. Again, with more of the Governor General's debacle, and as well as the politicians that backed her up. Of course, Trudeau apologizing, realizing to the general public, oh, I should have vetted her even better. I should have done this. Yeah, you think, Buckeye? Yeah? You think you should have done better?
You bet your mama sweet ass.
Yeah, exactly. You bet your mama's sweet ass. You should have, right? But see, that just goes to prove, too, how much responsibility, care, and consideration that this Liberal Party has put in to the Canadian Trust. Not too bloody fucking much, right? Not too much when it comes to actually having someone represent this country as a whole. No, we have to go through, like I said in my last episode, we have to go through the coloring book mandate rather than the actual encyclopedia mandate. I personally don't care who represents us as a Governor General. I'm just at a point right now where I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if we have one or not. And if we do have one, then it should be an elected position and there shouldn't be any perks. Now, because of her resignation, she is somewhat magically entitled to $149,500 plus a year. Now, think about that. With all the economic crisis that's going on Canada-wide, from every small town to every major city to every rural area, okay, how many people are going to be fortunate enough to see that kind of money after 3.5 years' work? Not too fucking many, really. My pension is roughly maybe $1,700 after taxes. That's a month. That's technically less than the CERB, right? And I'm not condemning it, whatever, because I've earned it. And the people out there that use the CERB because they need it, that's fine. But it's another tax fucking game, too, to these liberal fucking wingnuts. And not to mention a handful of the so-called conservatives, but the really liberal lights that are doing the same thing too. Now, my question is that if the Prime Minister has to apologize for not vetting properly, what else has he not vetted properly? Well, let me tell you, the national debt that's going on, the way he's treated the veterans, the way he's treated the military, seniors, First Nations, the actual environmental issues, i.e. dropping raw sewage into the fucking St. Lawrence, not to mention other parts of the Great Lakes and other waterways, denying the actual building of a pipeline in this country that we're going to put a lot of Canadians to work, okay? And the stall tactics he's had. Now, we can all sit there and speculate how well he talked with Mr. Joe Biden and the Keystone XL issue, but he didn't, right? He was very disappointed. Yes, very disappointed in how Mr. Biden didn't consider the Keystone XL pipeline. Yeah, well, he doesn't give two shits. Even though the Trudeau family made their fortune, Trudeau Sr., not Pierre Trudeau, but Papa Trudeau, made a small fortune, which instilled a trust fund to his family for a very, very long time based on fucking oil and gas. And now yet Mr. Trudeau and his cabinet of followers, the pint-sized you-know-what, all the chaggers, all the financiers, all the so-called moral experts on everything Canadian, right? All the censors, all the censor wannabes, all the communist wannabes, just really don't want to see Canadian oil come out of the ground to help Canadians. Right? They'd rather coincide and stay in bed with Biden and Harris and let the Tides Foundation and the Make Way Foundation and all these other so-called environmental bopper groups call the shots, right? And they failed to realize, too, that fossil fuel is a good part of their lives just like everybody else. All those trips they get driven to, all those chauffeurs they have, yes, those airplane rides they take. Oh, it comes from fossil fuels. What do you think runs them? You're going to plug in a plane for a month to give yourself a 6-hour aircraft ride? Or you're going to plug your car in for 6 hours to get to and from the city? I tell you, it gets difficult and difficult, more difficult every day to really think, what are they thinking? The logic is it just fucking surpasses me. Anyway, here's a word from my sponsors.
In October of 2015, Lindsay Robbins, like many of her fellow Canadians, was struggling with the turmoil of mental illness. The ups and downs of what she was going through was shaping her realities, and she longed for structure. As luck would have it, that structure presented itself to her in the form of gardening. And through gardening, Lindsay had an awakening that led her to create Produce for Heroes. Lindsay realized that our veterans were going through their own mental struggles, and through her own experience, she realized the power of community. By desiring to help the way that she had been helped, she has created a program that provides relief to veterans. Her food program, which aims to provide veterans and their families relief from the stresses of food insecurity and help alleviate the cost of living for those that have sacrificed so much for their country. Whether it's through directly contacting Produce for Heroes or through a friend's referral, all veterans and their families living in Canada are welcome. By shining a light on the struggle of veterans and their families, Lindsay is hoping to get her fellow Canadians to hop on board and support Produce for Heroes and our great veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help, ProduceForHeroes.com is a great place to start.
This is Brian Boucher, the new CEO of Canuck Gold Corp. We have gold at 99% purity with discounts ranging from $100 up to $200 off the ounce. This is the right place to buy, from 2-gram cards to 400-ounce bricks. We have any quantity of gold you are looking for. We also sell by the ton, not like your ex-wife. Visit us today at canundgold.com, C-A-N-U-N-D gold.com.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can check out Brian and Scott at canundgold.com and look up Lindsay at Produce for Heroes. Links will be in the sponsorship heading in the description. So carrying on to more government fallacies. I use the term, or the saying, so long and thanks for all the fish, basically the Douglas Adams novel, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I read it many moons ago. I'll have to read it again just to verify, but I think it was the title that really presented the whole issue with Miss Payette's reaction to her resignation. Now, she apologized and did the token head bow and the little, little 30-second guilt of shame that, this doesn't buy with a lot of Canadians. This doesn't sell with me anymore. I really don't think that she had any place being. I don't really think she had any business being the Governor General, to be honest with you. I don't care what her educational background. Yeah, she can speak 6 languages. She had an engineering degree. She was in space, done all these wonderful accomplishments, but then she also was charged with assaulting her ex. I don't think she was actually convicted, but she was charged for assaulting her ex. So if that's not an indication, I don't know what is, because I know for a fact that if any man applies for a job and he's been charged with an assault crime, good luck holding on to said work or good luck finding a key position, right? Doesn't matter what qualifications you are. because there's employers I have personally met who have vetted me in the same spectrum. Criminal background check, exactly. That's the way it goes now. But they have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to anything violent. Doesn't matter if it's a bar fight or a little street skirmish or if you beat up a loved one. They have zero tolerance for it. So that's what gets me. She's holding a key government position, and yet she can get away with it. So that's another tick in the box of fucking insanity that looms in our Canadian political spectrum. Even today I was watching with my wife. We were watching a CPAC channel just to get some lowdown on amendments to the Criminal Act and what they're doing with the whole CERB issue. And to be honest with you, I can't repeat it verbatim. And I'm not going to put links up in the description, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just, oh. How else do I say it when I use my big words? How else do I say that it's just fucking total malarkey? Okay? You have all these educated officials sitting around gabberbagging, nip and tuck, tickle the taint, slap and tickle here and there, back and forth. And yet none of them has come up with a viable solution in regards to helping the economy out. They're going back and forth in regards to the CERB, going back and forth in regards to, well, it's helping Canadians, it's pulling Canadians out of poverty, and bullshit. Poverty is lingering right around the corner because of all these mom and pop shops and smaller businesses that have been forced to close based on municipal and provincial health regulations, all in the name of fucking safety. And yet these clowns, and half of them can't even sit in the office. They'd rather just sit with a microphone on their head like I am to you and tell you what the fuck is going on. When half of them can sit in Parliament, maintain social distancing, and still do their effing job to earn their $180,000 plus and extras a year, right? And of course, where's the PM in all this? He makes an appearance now and again because of his personal days. You know, he has to go surfing in Tofino, or he has to go fucking lumberjacking in his little cottage area just to feel like a man again. Yeah, right. Anyhow, I keep digressing back to this whole shit, but to make a long story short, I'm getting tired of it. What say you? CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and like I said, the new Gab and the Telegram platforms too. You can also find me on Twitter. I still have a Twitter account. I still use it on occasion, but lately I've been seeing 5 or 6 people keep missing. You know, 1 minute I'll have so many of these people subscribing, and then I'll come back 2 to 3 days later, and there'll be like 6 people missing or 7 people missing. And then my list will go up again, and then a few more people missing. So if you don't like my work, I'm not saying you have to subscribe, but I'm just finding it really, really odd that when I see people missing from my subscribe pages and all that good stuff, there's usually 5 or 6 or 10 or more. Interesting. So just goes to show big tech doesn't like what guys like me have to say. Well, too bad. You know, I've used services, I've paid for services, so don't fuck with your customers. You know what I mean? And we're carrying on again with more of the Governor General debacle. Now, I remember a Governor General, I forget his name. It was when we were serving. He actually come out to see the troops. He was there with Mr. Harper, Prime Minister Harper at the time. And I remember shaking his hand. And I remember saying, Your Excellency, and all that good stuff. And he said, how you doing, soldier? Good. You know, just the morale was good. And I look at what we have now. I really don't think that Ms. Payette would have the guts to do anything like that, considering her diva attitudes and all other aspects of her career, you know, treating her staff like absolute garbage, demanding renovations at Rideau Hall, you know, demands, not wanting to do the fucking job, you know. And if you didn't want the job, lady, then why'd you take it? Huh? Think of all the perks and stuff you get. And now you're going to fight like hell to keep your pension, when really you do fuck all for it. And when I look at pensions like $149,000 a year, I'm thinking, well, shit, did you cure cancer? Did you cure diabetes? Have you cured the common cold? You know, have you found a flu shot that's not really going to hurt anybody and, you know, stop people from getting the flu? See, those above innovations, if you did something like that, then I can maybe justify a pension to that size. But obviously you didn't. You just sat around on your Canadian version of the throne and did your Canadian version of the monarchical duties and did your Canadian version of reporting to Her Majesty in Great Britain. Yet, what else did you contribute to society? Right? When you worked for the Olympic Committee, you weren't that good. Yeah. When you worked for other sports committees, you weren't that good. When you managed certain science aspects, and I think the Science Center in Montreal, you weren't that good. So what gives, lady? What gives, Liberal Party? You're so hooked on doing everything by the so-called woke agenda, yet you fail to realize that you need competence to fulfill said obligations and duties. Actual competence, intestinal fortitude, dedication, service to others other than thyself, right? Well, I really don't give a shit what her background is. I don't care if she can speak 20 languages. I don't care if she can figure mathematics out in her fingers. The point being, she did a terrible fucking job, and you guys stood by to try to hide it. So much for transparency, right? Yeah, so much.
You bet your mama, sweet ass.
Again, and I'll keep dwelling on this, but I don't know what else to say other than, yeah, we're disappointed. Good riddance. And I would really think that there'd be a big overhaul when it comes to who we have in these positions in our government. Now, let's say hypothetically they call an election in the spring or the fall. You know, are we going to vote for people that are going to do the vetting process a little more thoroughly? You know, I guess Mr. Harper had an actual committee while he was prime minister that had cabinet members from all parties that would sit and vet people accordingly. And of course, they would vet people accordingly based on merit and contribution and what certain individuals can do and what they have done in a positive manner. Okay, great. So Ms. Payette had a good resume. But of course, Potato Head himself got rid of that whole fucking platform where we had to vet properly. So that speaks for itself, right? We have something that works, something that's working for the good of the nation, and here comes shithead and ruins it for everybody. All for the sake of diversity and wokeness, right? And parody. Right? I personally have nothing against any female or any male for applying for any job, right? Especially if that male or female has what it takes to get said job done, all the better. And especially if they have the credentials to back it up. I'm not going to take my taxes to a dentist. No, I'm going to take my taxes to a qualified accountant. Right? And if I get charged with a criminal offense, I'm not going to go to a tax lawyer. I'm going to go to an actual criminal lawyer. Right? Priorities, folks. Common sense. Yet we keep losing it. We keep missing it. What happened? What happened to it? Okay. What happened to it? Let me know. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, The Gab, and Telegram and Signal, respectively. Or leave me a message or a comment on YouTube and Podbean. By all means, please click like, subscribe, and comment and all that good stuff. And if you do get a chance, please check out my store, I can't speak English right now, customizedgirl.com/s/Crusty Canuck. Get yourself some nice swagger, some shirts, some t-shirts, some hats, magnets, stickers, mugs. I got patriotic gitch for the men and swimsuits for the ladies, too. Tank tops, all that good stuff. Please check out my store. Get yourself some Crusty Canuck swagger today. Or get yourself, your loved one, a nice Crusty Canuck shirt for Valentine's Day. Nothing says I love you like a good Crusty Canuck. We stand on guard for the t-shirt. Yes. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, carrying on. I was on the Adam Daniel Mazet podcast, his Hidden Gem podcast that he does. A very, very artistic, intellectual panel of individuals, I'd say. Not to toot my horn, I'm trying to toot Adam's horn here. This guy put together a great show. We had a great show there last night on his platform. Discussed military procurement and discussed politics as we see it, what needs to be done, especially in regards to military procurement. And I made a point of saying that we have to get rid of these boards. Because there's too many boards, too many bureaucrats, too much red tape calling the shots when it comes to these procurement ideas. Look at the fiasco we're going through right now with the frickin' vaccines. All of our other NATO allies and friends alike are getting vaccines given to them in recorded time, and yet Canada's falling behind yet again. Why? I don't think it's because of the money. I think they're bought and paid for already. I think it's just a matter of who's ordering who and who's getting done for what at what cost. So whether there's a reach around coming from under the table or a slap and tickle coming up on a Sunday, something is not getting done in regards to assisting with the procurement of these issues. Well, honestly, because I remember back in November, I did an episode in regards to how the procurement minister is sitting there saying, oh, please don't talk about this. Please don't talk about that. We might lose a contract with Pfizer or Moderna or whoever else they were fucking negotiating with. And yet we all know they're conglomerates of the greater Chinese communist influence, right? And yet we actually look at Wuhan right now, too. A lot of the restrictions have been lifted, apparently. So if this pandemic was so goddamn terrible, if this issue was so fucking horrendous, then why was ground zero of said spread of this issue? Well, why are they all walking around free, mask-free and stuff right now, too? Something to think about, folks. So if they do call an election in the spring or the fall, something to ponder, right? And like I said, too, I'm putting my hat and my name into the Veterans Coalition Party. I'm putting myself into the game. Yes, yours truly is going to run for the Battle River Crowfoot area. So eastern Alberta, look out, here I come. That simple. So once I follow the proper procedures, once election is called, I'll be out picketing, getting names and all this stuff and spreading the word, spreading the gospel of the Veterans Coalition Party, common sense politics, helping people, basically, letting people live their lives with liberty, peace, security, and freedom the way it should be, because we're not seeing this from the parties as we speak. We're seeing a few token individuals who get up in Parliament and point fingers and debate as they should. But like I said, after watching CPAC today, I wasn't really impressed with all the people sitting there gab-fabbling back and forth in regards to the pro of this, pro of that. Long-winded speeches, long-winded bullshit, basically blowing shit out of their ass with a high-priced tie. That's it. All right? So there's something going on, something in the works that we're not being told. A lot of deflection in our media, Of course, I dedicated this episode to the Governor General's incompetence, but I'm also trying to open up the dialogue to people that just don't really care, and they should care. Because I think our democracy is being compromised, folks. Look at every major city and how many tickets are being handed out to people for the sake of the bear bug, for not social distancing, or people giving tickets at random. There was a tattooed parlor in Winnipeg that received pre-written tickets. And I'll leave a link to that in the description too. But it was just phenomenal. Something that was pre-written just to be handed out off the cuff, right? It's like when you're preparing food, you're going to have 20 people showing up, but you prepare for 40 anyway, just in case, right? See, that's where I can see where you do, where you do a pre-logistic assessment of something. But pre-tickets, well, here, write 20 tickets there, Bill, just in case we get 20 people breaking the law. Yeah, write 20 speeding tickets just in case we get 40 people breaking the law. Yeah. And if your neighbor likes to drink, well, then write up a ticket anyway, just in case he decides to drink and drive. Therefore, you can nail him for impairment. Yeah, that sounds pretty stupid, isn't it? Well, that's what they're doing in Winnipeg to a tattoo parlor there. So, like I say, I'll leave a link in the description. I think Rebel Media did it, but you decide for yourself, folks. Holy shit in a handbag. Well, I don't know what else to say is that I'm disappointed with the Governor General, just slightly perturbed. No, I'm not perturbed. I'm pissed off at the fact that we have so-called educated officials in this country that take advantage of the system and then treat the rest of us Canucks like regular fucking peons. Like we don't know any better, right? Kind of like your first grade teacher or any other teacher in that matter when it comes to public school. And when they sit there and talk down to their kids like they're morons, That's what we're getting from these leaders, these so-called fucking know-it-alls, ladies and gentlemen. And I think enough is enough. Honestly. If we're going to have the government sit there and decide who becomes Governor General, then maybe it should be an election. If we're not going to get rid of it, then let's make it an elected position, right? Where somebody in there can make a difference, right? Because if they don't make a difference, then they're fired. No pension, no perks, no nothing. Only the perks should be allowed if they actually have to visit somewhere. If they actually have to fly to Britain or fly to the country to do this or fly around to do that, fine. But I don't believe that any of these people should have an expense account, or other privileges for that matter too, right? How the hell do you earn a pension after 3.5 years of work? Honestly, and especially 3.5 years of undedicated and attitude issues too, right? We both know if you work like that in any other position, you get your ass fired, right? Why is she any different? Honestly, think about that. Why is anybody in that position any fucking different? Any position in the Senate or even Parliament for that difference? Why? Like I say, you tell me, CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Telegram, and other social media platforms that have yet to be censored. Please click like and subscribe and share this around. Don't forget to click the little bell notification on YouTube and give me a comment or two. Please tell me what you think. I'd like to know. All right? Share this all around, folks. It starts with listeners like you, and I'm very, very grateful that I have as much subscribers as I do now. But please consider donating too. You know, if I had $1 from every subscriber, well, or at least $1 from half of my subscribers on my page, I'd be on my way to getting some new product, a better podcast, and some videos out there for you all to enjoy. So please consider that too. Or if you just want to join the page, you can do that too. For $1.99 a month, you get to hear my ugly mug. You get to see my face in every live stream that I do. And you get accolades where they count. I would literally clap my hands and applaud your efforts for giving me $1.99 a month. It would be much appreciated. Which brings me to that I will be live on the 28th of January, this coming Thursday. Yes, this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. To my Eastern listeners, that's 8 o'clock your time. To other listeners around the world, I don't have the schematics right now, but if you're in Australia, it'll be a day ahead. So, of course, please tune into that, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, this Thursday, 28th of January. I'll be doing another Crusty Canuck live stream Q&A. Ask me anything you want to know, folks, but please keep the comments clean and, civil. If you want to be mean, you want to be harassing, then I'll just delete you, and I'll just delete you off my page. So let's just try to be civil and try to be calm. You know, I try to be civil with some people. Lately, I've had some folks weigh into my Facebook page and say all these wonderful things. You know, I post something about Sloan getting fired the way he was, and I got all these little libtards coming out of the woodwork calling me a Mr. Scheer supporter and everything. And as far as I know, I don't recall supporting Scheer, but if that's where you stand, fine. And then when I present facts to you and I ask you to back your stuff up, then please take the extra 30 seconds to back up your claims prior to, your typical fucking woke speculation. Do us both a favor. Keep the dialogue going. If you want to debate me, debate me. But you want to be a dick? Well, fine. I just won't listen to you. It's that simple. Shit simple. How else do I explain it, folks? All right. So I say again, this Thursday night, 28th of January, 6 p.m., Mountain Standard Time, I will be live again on YouTube and Facebook. I'll be using the same format as I did last time. So please have your questions ready. If you feel like donating, please donate. And I'll do what I can to get your questions up there in a timely manner and answered in a timely manner too. The last one was a great success. Had a lot of people come out and say hello, ask me some pertinent questions. And of course, there were a few douchebags who just wanted to be dicks, so they were deleted. Anyhow, as I say, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 25th of January, 2021. It's a nice minus 26 outside. I think I might step outside and take a breath and come back in again just to blow the stink off me. It's a nice, pertinent, dry cold. I think minus 26 with a wind chill of a nice, balmy, nice minus 38. Fun stuff, eh? Anyway, folks, that's my rant for the Governor General's spiel and her resignation. Like I say, so long and thanks for all the fish. And I'll probably see you Thursday. Like I always say, though, look after your friends and loved ones. We can get over this hump. Do what we can to help each other out. Shovel a bit of snow, a few extra groceries. Give a few bucks when you can. And just try to be civil with each other in this time of uncertainty. But look after your friends and your loved ones. And like I say, folks, remember, humanity and merit wins the day. And I'll see you on the 28th. Take care. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.